Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Nayaswami Padma, and I'm here today to bring you the noon broadcast of a brief excerpt from the original teachings of Paramahansa Yogananda as it's expressed, as those teachings are expressed through Swami Kriyananda's autobiography, The New Path. And today's excerpt is an interesting one. He's continuing on the theme of how he learned about public speaking from Yogananda. But of course, these principles can expand way beyond public speaking, which is why I think it's important to cover them. Indifference to the fruits of my efforts, meaning this is Kriyananda speaking, proved a solution to the problem of nervousness, but it didn't help me in the far more important matter of communicating with the listeners. For in telling myself it was all a dream, I ended up not really caring whether I spoke well or not. Only gradually did I become a conscientious speaker, as the awareness grew in me that the people I was speaking to were manifestations of the divine, and as I understood it was through them, rather than by merely surviving the personal ordeal of appearing before them, that I was being asked to serve God. Thus I was cured of a temptation that is common to public speakers, to be satisfied if they can make their points convincing to themselves. For in seeing the divine manifested in the forms of the listeners, and in realizing that what I had to say was a service to God through them, it became important to me to express myself in a way that would reach God through them. So this is a really interesting topic, and it's one, as I started off saying, that expands much beyond even public speaking. I remember once, a long time ago, I was asked to be a witness in a court case, and the attorney prepared me for the deposition and later for the testimony that I was to give. And his main advice was, of course, two things: always to tell the truth, and always to answer only the question asked. In other words, to learn to become a really good listener so that I could offer the truth based on the question that was actually being asked, rather than the question that was turning around in my own mind or spinning off. I'm sure many of you have experienced this, spinning off a word or two that the person I'm speaking to might have had in their question, but assuming beyond those couple of words my own interpretation of what the question should have been. Now, that's a very long and complicated way of saying that we do the same thing when it comes to whether it's public speaking, whether it comes to leadership or guiding a meeting, whether it comes to listening to a friend. We tend to have way too much of the filter of our own ego consciousness coming through. And as Kriyananda was describing in this little paragraph that in public speaking that has to do with the discomfort that we tend to have on getting up in front of people and, well, speaking or else making a fool out of ourselves, as he had said in a prior example. And so much more takes place in these human interactions. And when we see that the divine is present in every atom of creation and in absolutely every cell of the beings, of the people that we're interacting with, whether we're having a conversation, a discussion, or giving a lecture, doing some other form of public speaking, regardless of which circumstance it might be, recognizing that we're trying to get out of the way, to be an instrument for the divine, to have the right words come out in the right way to express not only the meaning, but the vibration of what it is that we're trying to convey, so that this vibration, which includes the vibration of kindness and consideration as we're communicating with others, that this is what really comes across. So often people after a talk will say, I don't remember what was said, but it felt good, it felt right. And that's because it carried that vibration of kindness and consideration. So joy to you, and we'll see you again on Thursday. Many blessings now. Bye-bye.